Hello and Assalamu alaikum. I'm Marwa Mohkam Sheikh. Welcome to Narramus. Things are in flux geopolitically. Militarily, so much is happening around the world. We've had a Ukrainian war, the Gaza conflict, Pakistan-India military escalations, the Israel-Iran war, and Thailand-Cambodia's renewed skirmishes. The character of these military conflicts are varied, from tit-for-tat military escalation to attacks on nuclear sites to barbaric fighting mirroring genocide. Among them, for us to discuss here today, is the 4-day conflict between Pakistan and India. A lot has been written on it, and a lot will follow. Unsurprisingly, both sides claimed victory in their versions and have drawn different lessons from the episode. So with the advantage of hindsight, let's analyze some aspects of this 4-day military escalation of May 2025 between Pakistan and India. At the operational level, there is a growing consensus among strategic experts that Pakistan gave a bloody nose to India. International military observers have confirmed that Pakistan was able to shoot down 6 Indian fighter aircraft in this 4-day air battle without losing a single plane. Although a few questions were raised about the performance of Pakistan's ground-based air defense, such analysis will remain incomplete without the availability of accurate data. Similarly, Pakistan was also able to hit back successfully on many Indian military targets, thus raising similar question marks over the performance of Indian ground-based air defense. Most of the operational level successes and failures, as claimed by both sides, remain shrouded in obscurity due to the unavailability of accurate information. However, at the strategic level, there is relatively more transparency regarding what happened and who gained or lost what from this 4-day encounter. First, it's clear that militarily, India pushed the boundaries further by striking deep into Pakistan at both military and civilian targets through long-range vectors, thus initiating non-contact warfare in South Asia. More importantly, the world did not object to it. In other words, India has been successful in enlarging the space for military operations without touching the nuclear threshold of Pakistan. Careful and calibrated selection of targets and non-contact vectors like the Air Force, drones, missiles, rockets, cyber, etc. by both sides enabled them to keep the military escalation below nuclear limits. The Pakistani stance that deterrent stability in South Asia remained intact as the military escalation did not spiral down to a full-blown, large-scale conventional war also holds value, since both sides were careful not to cross each other's red lines. Pakistan's military effectiveness to fight conventionally quickly re-established the intra-war deterrence, filling any space for war. Second, India has also been able to push the political envelope further by holding the Indus Water Treaty in abeyance for an indefinite period. It's worth noting that in 2019, following the Balakot strikes, India abrogated Articles 370 and 35A, thereby altering the decades-old status quo in Jammu and Kashmir. Hence, in the garb of limited military escalations with Pakistan, India has been successfully pushing the political and diplomatic boundaries with impunity in line with its strategic interests. Now, Indian thinking seems to indicate that water security will replace Kashmir as the core issue for Pakistan. Thus, in their opinion, it would be more convenient for India to bargain for a stoppage of alleged Pakistani support for terrorism in exchange for water. From Pakistan's perspective, this is another dangerous development, since the world has not objected to India's belligerence against a well-reputed and time-tested international treaty. Although the Court of Arbitration established under the treaty has rejected India's stance, it does not prevent India from violating its obligations stipulated under the treaty. Similarly, President Trump announced his desire to mediate on Kashmir, much to the dismay of Indians. This desire may not also bear fruit, as India continues to be the US's strategic partner in the Indo-Pacific strategy, aimed at containing China. Third, the apparent geopolitical warmth shown by the US towards Pakistan, starting from the infamous ceasefire tweet by President Trump, which irked the Indians, also caught both Pakistan and India by surprise. Some analysts attribute this to the typical unpredictable Trump style. In contrast, others consider it a calculated move to put pressure on India for safeguarding the long-term strategic interests of the US in the region. Therefore, unless the US's positive overtures towards Pakistan convert into meaningful actions, example, support in United Nations for resolution of the Kashmir dispute, restoration of the Indus Water Treaty, development of Pakistan's economic corridors with Central and West Asia, this will only be a transactional, happy phase in Pakistan-US relations without any long-term strategic implications. However, as limited as it may be, Pakistan should capitalize fully on this small window of opportunity and utilize it to serve its long-term strategic interests rather than pursuing short-term gains only. As can be seen, operationally, Pakistan has to further improve her conventional capabilities to aggressively fight any future non-contact misadventure by India. The possibility of a disproportionate response is the most effective way to maintain conventional deterrence. Only a muscular Pakistan can keep a bully like India in her senses, whereas strategically, Pakistan may need a bit of deliberate haze to confound its long-term strategic priorities in the region, avoiding the effects of US-China rivalry. Though US-Pakistan relations will remain transactional due to a lack of any strategic convergences, these are still important. On the other hand, China is an all-weather friend, much dependable and more reliable. As regards India, she has to give up her hegemonic ambitions and sit down to resolve outstanding issues with Pakistan. She must understand that only her stubbornness not to engage in bilateral talks with Pakistan has created the space for third-party intervention. To exert a pull on India, Pakistan must move forward with greater strategic clarity to work towards enhanced regional economic integration with its Western neighborhood, including West and Central Asia, as well as Russia. As Pakistan reorientates to act as a pivot rather than a pawn in the US-China rivalry, it should exert its rightful geopolitical influence by building a stronger military muscle, reducing any space for military conflict and seeking larger alliances with her Western neighbors to safeguard her strategic interests. A stronger Pakistan can act as a West Asia fulcrum, smoothing even cross-purpose geopolitical interests. What are your views on the subject? Drop them in the comments below. Until next time, Allah Hafiz.